Hello, Maggie here. The verses today are Mark chapter 10, verses 17 to 27. This passage is about a rich man who comes running to Jesus, wanting to know how to inherit eternal life. It's a sad story because he goes away without it. There would have been many folk around Jesus that day because Jesus and his disciples were just leaving Judea and heading towards Jerusalem. Jesus would be leaving behind friends and familiar places in order to fulfill his purpose on the earth. But he was not so focused on his journey that he couldn't stop for the man. He gave him time. The man, even though he might get to be criticised by the religious leaders, knelt in front of Jesus and called him good teacher, an acknowledgement of who Jesus was. The question about gaining eternal life was asked, and Jesus responds by quoting some of the 10 Commandments to him. The man responds by saying to Jesus, "I have kept these commandments since I was a boy." But of course, Jesus had not mentioned the first commandment, which is, "You shall not have any God apart from me." Jesus asked the man to sell all he had and give it to the poor. Such a hard thing for him to do because of his wealth. But sadly, his wealth was the God he couldn't manage without. Jesus had to explain to his disciples how hard it is for rich people to enter God's kingdom. It's just like trying to get a camel through the eye of a needle. That's impossible. But anything is possible with God. I found it amazing that a man who actually met Jesus in the flesh says no to Jesus. The disciples had said yes to Jesus easily, so they couldn't understand why the man said no. Have we wasted any of our time talking to folk about Jesus and then they walk away? No. Our job is to share about Jesus. We can't make a decision for somebody else. Jesus gave the man enough time. He had heard what he had to do. Jesus was moving on. He had many more folk to see and to speak to. The passage says that Jesus loved the man, so he would have wanted him to say yes. Are there things that we are holding on to that have become more important than God? His love for us is strong and amazing, and he always wants us to say yes when he asks us to do something or give something up. If we're struggling with a decision, we can always do what it says in Hebrews chapter 5, verses 15 and 16. God understands our weaknesses, for Jesus faced all of the same testings we do, yet he did not sin. So we can come boldly to the throne of our gracious God. There we will receive his mercy, and we will find grace to help us when we need it most. Fantastic. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.